Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer. And now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Welcome to Connect with Me. We're having a lovely morning this Thursday morning. It is Arts and Culture, and we are broadcasting live from the showroom floor at Ventura TV here on Comcast 187 and 43.6. And so before you know it, the new year is around the corner, and we have the perfect calendar to help you kick off that brand new year. So make sure you call in at 436-MeTV option 11, and we will be back soon. And we're back here on 43.6 and channel 187. Today we have a very special program. We've had her on before, and like I said before, the new year is coming around the corner, and it's going to be 2014. We have the Winter Olympics coming up. And do you guys have anything special planned for this new year? Well, if we go to the videotape, I can show you something that can help you jumpstart your new year. It is the wonderful Huntington Boulevard calendar. This mile-long stretch between First Street and Cedar Avenue began in 1910 on what was then 190 acres of alfalfa field. From its tree-lined sidewalks to its Christmas decorations, Huntington Boulevard is known for its stately homes. Some of our most notable presidents have even visited the boulevard. But that's not all it's known for. It's also known for its lovely calendar filled with more than just months and days. It features history and art. And we are very lucky to have 2 special guests here in the studio to talk with us about that today. The first is Penny Raven. She is the co-founder of the Homeowners Association for the Huntington Boulevard. And we also have the artist himself here in the studio, Doug Hansen. He is the artist of the 10 out of the 12 illustrations on the Huntington Boulevard calendar, and he is also a cartoonist for the Fresno Bee back in the day. He works at Fresno State University, and so we have a lively show coming up to talk with us about the history of the homes, the calendar celebration, and a little bit into Doug's past about all of his artwork. So make sure you join us 436-MeTV option 11, and we'll be back in a moment.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
We're back here live on the showroom floor at Ventura TV, and we have 2 lovely guests in today. We have Penny Raven, nice to see you again, and Doug Hansen, the artist himself.
Very happy to be here.
Good, I'm glad to have both of you on. John is out today, but I think we'll make it just fine without him, right? Okay. Perfect, so let's talk about this calendar. Right here.
All right. This is our 23rd annual edition of the Huntington Boulevard Historical Homes Calendars, and it features sketches of many of our beautiful houses, and then it also has a sketch of the monument that we built in 2003 that we have one at each end, the Cedar end and the First Street end, and it has a streetscape, which was also done by Doug to give people who want to see what the street looks like a picture with the beautiful camphor trees. And this year, our camphors, palms, and oleanders were 100 years old, and so we did a centennial celebration of the trees in August.
Yes, I remember we had you on the show. You were talking about the tree plates that they could buy and put on the tree, correct? Yeah. Okay, so we have some video of the calendars being delivered. So if we go to the video, and then Penny, maybe you can tell us a little bit of what's going on in the video with the cars. It should be on one of those monitors.
Okay.
And then Doug, were you here for this as well?
Yes, yeah. I've made it for the last couple of big rollouts.
Okay.
This was the arrival last year, and that's a 1972 Rolls-Royce. And it delivered the Huntington Boulevard calendars, and they are in boxes, which you'll see in a minute, that get unloaded into the little red wagon that I'm pulling
there
out.
You are in your lovely red dress. And then, so you guys take the calendars and you put them in the wagon.
Yes, exactly, and take them into the house. And this is our opening event is called the Calendar Arrival Party, and that is when the people who have been sponsors on the calendar are allowed to come and are invited to come and pick up their calendars, and we have a little bit of a hospitality party for them. That lady is Mary Funk. She was walking there, and she is our president of the Huntington Boulevard Homeowners Historical Association.
Okay, so explain to us what the sponsors, what part they have in the calendar.
Well, in order to publish the calendar, we need to have a way to pay for it. And so in the years past, the way that it was paid for was during Candlelight Christmas, which we no longer have, then people would purchase calendars as they went down to view our Christmas decorations. And then when that stopped, there was no way to have people fund the calendar. So that is why we got sponsors the last 2 years. And I'm thrilled with Ventura TV and their sponsorship and Connect With Me. It's been life-saving. It really has been an important part for us.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad we could help and contribute to that.
Yes.
And so, Doug, how many years have you been illustrating for the calendar?
I was just thinking about that and trying to remember. I'm thinking maybe the mid-'80s was when we began. Is that right, Penny?
Let's see. Well, we've been doing it 23 years, and I think you started the third year.
That's
About
right.
20 years.
Yeah.
Wow. You have quite a few years under your belt there with that.
Yeah.
Lots of houses he's done for us, lots
Very
of homes.
nice. So how do you decide which houses are going to be featured in the calendar?
Well, there's kind of a criteria. First of all, we want a selection of styles of houses. We also want from one end of the street to the other, not to be concentrated in a single area. Then we also pay tribute to our seniors who are there, people who have lived there for a long time. We try to include their houses each year as well. So those are some of the things that go into our committee's thought process when we're doing our selection.
Okay, and then out of all the artists here in Fresno, why Doug?
Oh, because we love him. He does marvelous things. We know that. You all know that. And so we were just thrilled when he said that he would be able to do it for us.
Good. And Doug, what does it mean to you to be chosen to be a part of such a special event?
Ever since I started creating artwork in Fresno, I've been drawing Fresno subjects, and it just sort of has become my thing. And so it does mean a lot to me that people would think of me when they think of Fresno themes and Fresno subjects. And this is a part of our town that's so historic and so picturesque that it makes great subjects for illustrations.
Yes. And then back to the calendar arrival, we have video of the reception after. So if you want to explain a little bit about that. I know you said it was for the sponsors.
Correct.
Who take part in
Yes,
sponsoring parts of the calendar.
They place a message on the calendar and pay a contribution for it, and then that entitles them to so many calendars. And so then they come, and then they are allowed to do whatever they wish with the calendars. And at Ventura TV, people who come to visit at Ventura TV will get a gift of the $7 Huntington Boulevard calendar.
Yes, if you come down to Ventura TV, our customers, we will give you a calendar while supplies last. But if we don't have any more here, they can also buy them at a book barn in Clovis.
Yes.
And
from me, they can.
Oh, okay.
The Huntington Boulevard has they can call 486-1710,
Okay.
and that will connect them.
Perfect. And then that's your house that we're looking at right there?
Yes. This was the calendar party that we did last year. And our house was built in 1939 by the Cella family, who at that point in time, that is Doug's.
Yeah.
That was our very
There's
first.
some Doug art.
Yes, that was our very first Candlelight Christmas, and it was on the front page of the Fresno Bee with his sketch.
Yes.
And yes, and then the Bee, I also have the original of it. So I have the newspaper article framed, and then next to it is the original.
Oh,
and it's
very
our entry
nice.
hall. Yes, we're very proud of it. Thank you
Good.
again, Doug.
You're welcome.
And then we have a picture of Doug. He had a special signing
Yes.
event
At our at the calendar arrival party. Doug is gracious enough to come, and there he is, and he is signing the calendars.
How many calendars did you sign? Enough to get carpal tunnel?
A lot. Not as much carpal tunnel as I get drawing the calendars.
Yeah. Oh, I know the leaves. We have, so many leaves on our trees and our bushes.
And so detailed.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yes.
That's the special thing that Doug does.
It is. And we will get more into that detail about the calendar and about Doug's art and more about Huntington Boulevard right on the other side of this break.
Adam 12. This is Adam 12. It stars Martin Milner as Officer Pete Malloy, Kent McCord as Officer Jim Reed.
Adam 12, roger.
This black and white patrol car has an overhead valve V8 engine. It develops 325 horsepower at 4,800 RPMs. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 120 miles an hour. The automobile has 2 shotgun racks, one attached to the bottom portion of the front seat, one in the vehicle trunk.
You want me to drive?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Welcome back, and we were just talking about the Huntington Boulevard calendar and the arrival party that they have for the calendar, the reception after, how Doug was at the signing party, but that was last year's footage. This year you guys had a different car.
Yes.
We have a picture of that. There it is. What kind of car and whose car is this?
All right. It belongs to Grant Schreiber, who lives on Huntington Boulevard. In fact, that's Grant to the far right, Doug standing in the center, and my husband Larry Raven with the wagon this year. And it is a 1924 Stutz automobile.
Right, yeah.
And that is, Doug, that's the reception table that we have in our dining room, and that is the manager of Food Max at Barstow and Blackstone, Mike Gentry.
Oh, and do they make contributions?
Yes,
to the
and
calendar?
and Food Max was a sponsor of the calendar. Wasn't that nice of them?
Yes. So now, is it the same car every year, or do you guys like to?
Well,
how do you decide?
We've only
that?
had the arrival parties 2 years, and the first year was the Rolls Royce, and then this year was the Stutz. So we'll have something else to figure out for next year.
Okay.
Because the arrival is fun. It's interesting, and you want to see what makes it be special. And the calendars, of course, we think are very special treasures, and so we want them to be showcased. So they come in a very fancy kind of way.
Yes. And then we have images from the calendar, so we can roll that video, and then if either of you want to speak maybe about the art or the history of the house, it'll be on one of those. There you go.
Okay, there. That is our monument and our street signs. We have custom designed street signs. That house was built in 1922, belongs to Jean Graham. It's a prairie style. This one is an English cottage, kind of Tudor. And this is another example of an English Tudor, a 2-story. This house was owned for many years by the Mukes family.
Okay.
Have a bungalow. There are many bungalows out of our 121 houses on Huntington Boulevard. This is the streetscape. We love that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, camphor tree and our lampposts. And right now our lampposts have golden halos and red bows on them.
Yes, I see that every morning when I drive here to work.
They're all dressed up for Christmas.
Very
That
festive.
is the first house. That home has the first building permit pulled on Huntington Boulevard. It was not the first one completed because a smaller house was completed before that one, but it took almost 2 years to build that particular house. It's in the corner of 6th and Huntington. And this was done by one of Doug's students. Piper Smith did that. The others so far have all been Doug Hansen sketches. That is a wonderful home that was built by the Wishon family. They built 3 houses in a row on a block between 5th and 6th.
Oh, wow.
First, Mr. Wishon, A.G. Wishon, built his house, and then that house was built for his daughter when she got married, and then when her daughter got married, the granddaughter of Mr. Wishon, they used where the tennis court had been and built a house there. So they had, and the houses all connected with gates between the backyards.
Oh, how cute. So there's 3 generations all visiting each other.
Right.
Nice.
So out of all the houses this year on the calendar, which one gave you the most trouble?
Oh man, that's a hard
Go ahead and take
question.
a look.
Have to look.
The two-story homes are a lot bigger subjects to draw than the charming smaller bungalows, and so just skimming through here real quickly.
Yeah, that one was...
this one at 3611 East Huntington Boulevard, it's got a big old palm tree in the front and expansive gardens. That one probably was the most challenging, just because you've got to get the perfect view, point of view for the illustration, and set it up so that as much of the good stuff as possible is included in the composition.
So do you draw from a picture of it, or do you go out there every day and look at the house?
Both of those things.
Okay.
I walk through with the homeowners, and we look at the houses that we've chosen, and I wander around and think and choose what I think shows the best view of the architectural elements, take reference photos, project those photos on my illustration board, and then go back and sit there and fill in all the details and get everything just so.
All right. We're going to take a pause for a minute. We have a phone call. Good morning. You are on Connect With Me with Penny and Doug. What is your question?
Good morning. It's always nice to see a fresh face in John's seat, and doing a great job, Lauren. I have a question for your guest this morning. The Bee ran a story about JFK coming to the valley for the kickoff of the San Luis Reservoir. Okay. My question to Mrs. Raven, is that the same occasion that President Kennedy visited Huntington Boulevard and spent the night, I think, in Senator Burns' house?
Actually, no. The time that Senator Kennedy came to Huntington Boulevard, it was at the O'Neill home, and that was when he was campaigning for president, just before he was elected. And so then the San Luis Bay Reservoir, the front bay, I believe, is called, it's called O'Neill Forebay, and it was named for J.E. O'Neill, who was a good friend and supporter of President Kennedy.
Oh, well, quite a bit of, neat, interesting history
and
there.
That house is on the December page of the current calendar, the 2013 calendar.
Okay.
That home is on the December page. So anyone who has a calendar now for 2013 can look at their December page, and there's the house.
Oh, very interesting. Do you know anyone who likes to collect the calendars every year? Do you know
yes. We have regular folks that call every year that want them and are very excited about it, and do have many do that, and I think it's wonderful. And they are actually, because of the weight of the paper, they are suitable for framing kind of sketch.
Oh, okay.
So
then
some
you
people
have a
have
way
done that.
to preserve
yes,
them.
And the homeowners have, many of the homeowners have done that.
Well, I bet if my house was painted and featured in a calendar, I would frame mine too and hang it up. All right, so Doug, back to the illustrations on here. What techniques do you use? I think you say it's pen and ink, correct?
Well, thank you for asking me that. I mean, artists like to talk about their work. And I'm no exception. Yes, pen and ink is the technique that I use to do these illustrations. It's probably one of the oldest techniques that there is in art, because it's so simple. You have black ink, and you have something pointy, in this case a pen, and you use the ink to draw with. So it's a dip style pen. I draw on smooth paper, and I get it all penciled first and make sure everything is just the way I want it as a pencil illustration, and then just very carefully ink over the pencil, and then once it's dry, any stray pencil lines can be erased.
What about any stray ink lines? Is that another story?
That's a good question, and I tell my students that the final step of any pen and ink illustration is getting back in there with your retouch white and just boop, boop, hit those few little spots, because it's inevitable that some little mistake or spatter will be made. It's no knock on the artist if that happens. It's just part of the process.
Very nice. So we are going to continue on the other side of the break with more information about Doug and his art and his illustrations, and he even has a couple of books, children's books, that he was the author and illustrator of. So you're not going to want to miss this. Make sure you call in at 436 MeTV option 11, so that way you can talk to Penny and Doug, and we will be back in just a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy.
Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV.
Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Welcome back. We're live on the showroom floor at Ventura TV, Comcast channel 187 and 43.6 with an antenna. We are talking to Penny Raven from the Huntington Boulevard Homeowners Association and Doug Hansen. He is the artist/illustrator for the calendar this year. Like we were talking about earlier, if you want to get your hands on a copy of one of these calendars for 2014, you can come down to Ventura TV and pick it up for free, or you can contact Penny and buy one from her for $7 or at a book barn in Clovis. So back to Doug's artwork. And you have a couple of children's books. How
That's
many,
right.
to be exact?
That's it, two.
Oh, two?
I have
Okay.
two, and you have them both. Mother Goose in California and Aesop in California.
We have a picture of the cover of Aesop in California. And there's the cover of it.
Yeah.
All of that lovely work has been done by you.
That's right.
So what was your inspiration for these books?
My inspiration for this particular book was traditional classic children's books, the kinds that I loved so much as a child, and I wanted to be able to tell those kind of stories and make those kind of pictures.
And what picture here are we looking at?
Oh, see, this is called Little Crab and His Grandmother. And yeah, we were over on the coast. Point Lobos was where I went to do my visual research for this one. Yeah, Little Crab, he tries to walk forward, but he can only go sideways. This is my interpretation of the story of the city mouse and the country mouse. And they're in Hollywood. They're in a Hollywood bungalow, and you can see a cat lurking in the shadows, ready to pounce. That's what happens if you try to live the high life of the city mouse. This is a story called The Rooster and the Eagle, and a couple roosters fight for who's the king of the barnyard, and you can see an eagle flying past. The winning rooster gets up on the rooftop to crow and gets nailed by the eagle. So, you know, pride goeth before a fall. And this is my retelling of the crow and the pitcher, but I chose the yellow-billed magpie because that's a special bird, a beautiful bird that lives only in the San Joaquin Valley. And I set it up at a place called Painted Rock in the Carrizo Plain, and you can see petroglyphs, painted images from the Chumash people in the background.
Very nice. So the titles are in California.
Yeah.
Explain a little bit about that and the inspiration behind that.
Sure. That's a perfect question. When I was working on the Mother Goose illustrations, like I really felt compelled to do, I had to ask myself, what could I do that's any different from 100, 1,000 other illustrators have done with Mother Goose? And so I thought about, well, what do I know about? Well, I know about California. So I decided, what would these well-known Mother Goose rhymes look like if I put them in California? So that's what I did.
What a unique twist on it all. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
So where else can people find your artwork here in the Valley?
Oh gosh, well, let's see, if you look at old newspapers from Fresno Bees from 1989 to 2002, you'll see my illustrations. These two books, of course, and I've illustrated two books for a local author, David Masamoto, illustrated two books for him, and the Bee published collections of other historic drawings similar to the Huntington Boulevard drawings that I did called Fresno Sketchbook.
Oh, okay. And then art run in the family? You want
Yes.
to explain?
Yeah, art runs in my family. I come from a family with 6 kids. I have 4 brothers and 1 sister, and 3 of the brothers, me included, have careers as artists, and my mom, Janice Hansen, is also an artist.
Very nice. And then you, in the Woodward Library, correct?
That's right.
Yes, if you go in there, you can see a 120-foot long mural.
Yes.
Painted by you, your mother, and your 2 brothers.
That's right, my brother Keith and my brother Craig.
Yes, so if you guys have time, go in there and check that out.
Yep.
You can also get Doug's books at a book barn.
Yes, a book barn in Clovis and Petunia's Place in Fig Garden.
Perfect. So you can just go to a book barn and you can get the calendar and one of Doug's lovely books.
Thanks.
All right, well, we're out of time. It was so nice having you on today. Oh, we're going to another break. Just kidding.
Now, why don't you tell us the whole story right from the beginning? All right, from the beginning. This is the city, Los Angeles, California. My name's Friday. I carry a badge. Police officers.
You any idea who the other man was?
My partner's Bill Gannon.
Program?
We got just one big question.
Yeah.
When?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Sorry about the confusion there. We thought, but luckily for us, we have more time, so we can talk about it a little more.
Great.
We have another video of some of Doug's artwork, if we want to go to that. And Doug, if you want to explain what
sure
that
do.
is, it's coming up in a second.
Yeah, happy to do that. People are interested in how art gets made.
Yes, this is the first stage, right?
So this is a painting of the fox and the grapes, a fable that a lot of people know well. You know, the fox is trying to get the grapes, and you're going, well, where the heck is the fox? Well, I haven't painted him yet. You can barely see some pencil lines. There he is now. The fox has been painted. I'm painting in watercolor, and everything has been penciled really carefully ahead of time, so I know just where to paint.
Then the next step.
Now you can see I've added the background, the foothills. We're up in the Napa area, so I got to go to Napa to do my research for the fox and the grapes because Napa is such an important wine growing region in California. Now the sky has been painted in, sort of a fade from blue to kind of a warm summery cast. So you can see the shadow has been added under the arbor. And I think there's probably one final step.
That's it.
To go. The final step for me would be to take the watercolor painting part and then very carefully outline all the everything in the picture with the liquid acrylics.
Okay, so then you do a little bit of acrylics with the watercolor?
Yeah, it's almost like the acrylics is more like a colored ink. So adding these colored outlines around everything really makes the pictures glow. Yeah.
Very nice.
And how long does it take to do something like that?
Anywhere from about 30 to 40 hours per illustration. You know, it's a big job. I really have to get myself psyched to do it.
What do you tell your students that you teach at Fresno State when they get discouraged and they're just like, they've had it? They're done. They're done trying to paint this picture.
I tell them, take a break, go do something else, play a video game, take a drive,
on the coast.
You know, listen to some music, wander around in nature. These are all things that can kind of recharge our batteries and make us feel fresh and ready to get back to the art creation.
Out of all your places in California that you've visited to do research for your books, what has been your favorite?
Oh gosh, well in the Aesop book, that one that we looked at a little while ago of the Carrizo Plain, the Painted Rock, you know, I loved going there. I'd never been to the Salton Sea, so I went to the Salton Sea where the story of King Log and King Stork is set. Almost every place in the Aesop book was a fantastic place to visit. Oh yeah, what's called a fan palm oasis in the Mojave Desert, where the tortoise and the hare story is set. Just a bunch of native palm trees growing out of, you'd think, nowhere in the middle of the desert, and it's a remarkable sight.
It must have been remarkable to draw as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done anything up north in the Redwoods?
I'm going there for my next book.
Okay, yes, you must go up there. You have to go to the Trees of Mystery.
That sounds good.
Yes, and big Paul Bunyan. They have a huge statue of him, so you can visit Paul Bunyan, maybe paint him. And
yeah, I'm trying to cover California as best I can, and California is so rich in possibility. You know, even on book number 3, there's many places that I've yet to get to.
Good, and so we can plan to see Doug as the illustrator for future calendars?
Yes,
many more to come?
Yes, certainly, we love it.
Okay, good. And then Penny, what about you? Do you have an artistic side to you at all? Or should we sign up for lessons from Doug?
I'll need to sign up.
Okay, well, me and you both. We'll refine our art skills, okay?
A great appreciation for art.
Good, yes, it is beautiful. And it is one of those rare talents that not very many people have these days. So we are very blessed to have you on the show today, and we are glad to have Penny, as always. And this time, no joking about it, this is the end of the show. And like you said, you can pick up the Huntington Boulevard 2014 calendar here at Ventura TV, or you can go to a book barn in Clovis, or you can contact Penny Raven, the co-founder of the Homeowners Association, and you can pick up your copy for $7. And that'll do it for today, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a Merry Christmas.